Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. We're going to do something I haven't done in a while, but I feel like we're just going to clear some energies. So you're going to hear 3 loud sounds. You might want to turn the volume down. I don't know how loud it's going to be for you, but here we go. All right. All right. I feel better about that. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I don't know. The energy's been kind of weird this week, so I just wanted to make sure that we were cleansing. And I'll tell you what, my sage, I don't know if you can see it, is smoking up a storm. Like it just, yeah. So clear that energy too. All right. Well, hope everyone had a good week. My week was very, very good. It was, I never knew what day it was, that's for sure. I definitely, I was ready for today. I will be dog sitting this weekend. I know I just got my dogs back and now I got to go babysit someone else's, but that's okay. They will be in good hands. All of them, including mine. And we will just make sure our little puppies have what they need, right? When mom and dad have to go out of town, or just mom, as the case may be. But you know, it takes a village. It's a collective thing. It's everybody making sure that everybody has what they need and pitching in. So there's that. Anyway, we're going to see if we can't get some energies for today. See what's going on in the collective today. Spirit Source, God, Creator, Universe. One more shuffle. And then... oh, maybe not. Okay, he said no. Spirit Source, God, Creator, Universe is speaking very loudly right now. Okay, Queen of Wands in the reverse. Fakey McFakerman. Okay, so, well... starting to finally be true. The truth of what's happening, the truth of this idea. Queen of Wands is Fakey McFakerman. I mean, that's Steve's thing, right? We love Steve. And he reads this card in the upright as someone who is putting on a good false front, right? So if we read it that way, then in the reverse, we're finally starting to admit what's happening here. In the cheat sheet, it says dull person, apathy, cold or angry energy or aggression. I don't feel like it's cold, only because there's so much fire. I feel like it's actually quite warm. But it is apathy. I can accept that. Yeah, I can see apathy here. It's going to be what it's going to be, which is kind of the energy we were trying to get to all week, right? Just letting things be what they're going to be. And this, I think, is finally accepting that. Just, it's going to be what it's going to be. And coming out of isolation from it. We had isolation yesterday, and obviously the Four of Swords clearly is a level of isolation. And cold, okay? Both the cards are describing cold. I see this one as warm. It's hot and cold. I mean, the two, I see Snow Miser and Heat Miser. I don't know if you guys remember that movie from when we were little. I think it was Rudolph's Shiny New Year that had the Heat Miser in it. But Heat Miser and Cold Miser. Hot and cold. And understanding that this Four of Swords, this restlessness, ready for action. You know, ready to come out and do something about whatever this is with the apathy. So you've got apathy and action and hot and cold. So I think we're still a little confused, still trying to figure out what this is, right? I feel like it's a mixture, right? Because you can't have hot without cold. You can't have good without bad. You can't have top without bottom. You need both. And I mean, you have polar ice cap, you know, absolute snow, and then you have an absolute fire in a volcano. So think about Think about that. It's the two extremes. That's what I want to say. The two extremes. It's not just the middle way. It's you've gone so far one way and now you're going so far the other way. You have to find the middle way. You have to find it's called Wu Wei. And we've experienced the extremes. We are experiencing the extremes of these energies, and now it's how do you find the balance? How do you find the middle way? You find the middle way with the 10 of Wands. Oh, sorry guys. I know. I am so tired today. 10 of Wands, putting down the burdens. Again with the Wands energy. She looks pretty angry. Look at her. She looks super angry. But she's like, you know what? Enough already. Just enough. Let me put these wands down. I'm tired of carrying the burdens for someone else, which is ultimately what that tells me. It's exhausted, too many responsibilities, It's not my job anymore to do all these things, delegate those back out to the people that they belong to. But you have taken on way too much responsibility, and it might not be yours to carry anymore. And decide. Use your discernment. Use your intuition. You don't have to go hot and cold. You can offer advice as a fleeting, thought. Plant the seed and then walk away. Right? You don't have to be there to nurture it and watch it grow into an oak tree. You can plant the seed and walk away. And I feel like that's what this is saying is, yeah, maybe you're the catalyst for some of these burdens, some of these lessons, some of these wands energies, but you don't have to see them through. What was that saying a while back? I think I saw it on Facebook. It was, healers learn how to plant the seeds of a tree that they will never sit under. So plant the seed, but then walk away, walk away. You don't have to be so hypervigilant or overprotective, or you don't have to see it all the way. You just have to provide the catalyst, the spark of the idea. A lot of Wands energy this week, guys. It's that creativity. Wheel of Fortune. So things are about to change. Things are going to change. They're going to turn, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Karma, if you will. It's constantly spinning. And where you kind of felt things may have been too hot, they may have been too cold. We've had the two extremes. We're going to hit the middle way here at some point, but it's coming. And this was a divine lesson. Maybe the whole thing was a divine lesson for you in that understanding of all this week. There was some tough energies this week, guys. And then the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. So Three of Pentacles is partnership, camaraderie. Let's see. Three Pentacles. Skills, quality, craftsmanship, teamwork, right? Teamwork. But we got it in the reverse. So really it's kind of sloppy craftsmanship, no teamwork, and office politics. Interesting. No longer being a team. Maybe, with this, changing the outlook on it, if it's not your lesson anymore, if you were just a catalyst, if you were not meant to be around when this karma or this Wheel of Fortune spun in the direction of the lesson being learned, maybe you're not meant to be there to see it through. I feel like that's confirmation. People's lessons should not necessarily be teamwork. I mean, they are, in a way. They need the reflection of the energy through relationships. It's the only way we can see what it is we need to look at, what our shadow side is, what our inner child is screaming for. We can't see our head with our own eyes. You can't touch the tip of this finger with the tip of this finger. You need a catalyst. You need something else to backboard it. You need something else to show you what's happening. And I think that's what this is, right? This person is showing you what it is you need to work on. But then they have to move on to their lessons. And maybe that is their lesson, that they don't see it through to the end, that they don't walk you through your lesson. I mean, think about it, guys. If you walk someone through their lesson and you help, like, good example, at my job, I'm a tutor, right? We're not allowed to help during exams. So if someone has an exam, an online exam, and they ask for help, we walk over there. The only thing we can do is explain the instructions. That's it. We cannot help them. We can't tell them they're right. We can't tell them they're wrong. We can't guide them in any direction. It is the exam. We cannot help. So maybe this is your exam and their exam, but the lessons are being served. This is karma, Wheel of Fortune. It's good luck, bad luck, all in how you look at it. It's in the upright, so I tend to think it's good luck. It is the number 10 card, which is the end of a cycle. The number 10 means the end of a cycle, And Wheel of Fortune, if you get it, you can move on to the next grade. If you don't, right, then you're doomed to repeat it. Been hot, you've been cold. You've carried the burdens. Let the wheel of karma spin in the direction that it needs to spin, and quit trying to learn someone's lessons for them. They have to take a level of accountability and responsibility for their own lessons, just like you do, just like you did. I often say, childhood wounds and whatnot. Well, but you're not at fault. You're not to blame. It wasn't that you weren't worthy, that you were treated this way as a child, and that you carry these burdens through to adulthood. But it is your responsibility to heal it. It's not your parents, or whoever it was that hurt you as a child and created these limiting beliefs and these childhood wounds and whatnot. Yes, they're not your fault. But at the same time, they are your responsibility to fix it. Break up that team. Just because it's not your fault doesn't mean that you don't have to fix it. You do. You have to take the accountability. That is the Wheel of Fortune. That is what you're here to learn. You may not have broken it, but it's your job to fix it. Bottom line. It just is. A little bit better reading today, I think. We're starting to see with the energies that we had all week, what it is, what is the lesson? All week we were asking, what's the lesson? Why are we ignoring our intuition? Well, the bottom line is, guys, it might not have been your lesson. It might not have been your lesson. Maybe you were the teacher. Maybe you were just the catalyst. The reason you weren't understanding it, because it's not yours. It's not meant to be yours. I think I even said in the reading yesterday, I said, most of you have already figured out what this means, and I couldn't figure it out. I was even getting loud and frustrated because I couldn't figure it out. I don't think it was for me. 9 times out of 10, I am in these readings. I haven't been in them in a couple of days. And I was talking to my friend about that today, and I'm like, it's frustrating for me because I don't understand them. I don't really get why it's such an energy of partnerships and balances and whatnot. Like I've been there, done that. I've learned that lesson. Like I'm not, it's literally the reading yesterday could have been me 2 years ago. I could tell you about a person where I was on the other side of that energy from yesterday, where I was the codependent. I was the one that was trying to spend every minute of every day with this person. And I'm past it. So it doesn't make sense to me that these readings are coming up again, but maybe you're on the other side of that, right? Maybe you're meant to be the catalyst to plant the seed for someone else. Think about, we had the 8 of Cups in reverse yesterday. What have you guys learned in the last, couple of years, couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months that you have overcome, that you're now being presented with the same situation, but you're at the other side of it now? Think about that. Okay. I talked a lot yesterday about businesses and how my business, I kept trying to take this square peg and fitting it into a round hole with what I wanted to do with my life. I thought I wanted to have a holistic business, but when in actuality, I'm more fulfilled pursuing a counseling degree and career. Does it mean I can't have both? No, but right now, this is where I need to focus my attention on my academics, on my learning and my studying. I've got the holistics part down for the most part. Now I need the academic to go with it. My whole goal this whole time was to bridge a gap between psychology and holistics, and really medical, right? But the mind, body, spirit, all the way around. And I was missing a piece of it, the academic psychology portion of it. And I was fighting that. Thinking I had everything I needed in one edge of the triangle, if you will. I have to go visit the other two pieces to make a full triangle to be able to do what it is I want to do. And I just wasn't seeing that. I didn't want to admit that, that I didn't have all the answers right away, that there was more learning to be had. And it took Spirit with the tower taking things away from me for me to find it. Putting me in New Mexico where I have an opportunity scholarship. Putting me in a situation where I did decide to go back to school. And, you know, I had to try different things in my academics before I settled in on the counseling piece. I started, maybe I was going to be a teacher, maybe I was a sociologist, maybe whatever, and had to narrow it down. And really, that's what this is. You know, you tried hot, you tried cold, try the middle. Try putting the burdens down. Try understanding that maybe the lesson is not your lesson. Maybe you're the teacher. And be the teacher, be the tutor. Don't give them all the answers. Walk away and let them figure some things out for themselves. Because that's what needs to happen. I mean, people learn better when they learn it themselves. You know, even in counseling, I think in my motivational interviewing class, she says, you know, you could tell them all day long you need to quit drinking or you need to quit drugs or whatever. You know, it's a substance abuse class that I'm taking. Until they say they want to, no amount of you telling them they need to is ever going to work. You have to just keep holding space, asking them open-ended questions, reflecting back to them, laying it all out, showing them where they're at until they see they want to change. Not that you tell them that you need to change. That'll never work. So, yeah, I don't know. That was a really big, long story for, I don't know, kind of some small cards here. I don't really see them. It's a big lesson. I mean, it's karmic. It's definitely karmic. I mean, Wheel of Fortune is the card of karma. But, you know, things are gonna start to spin. You know, things are constantly changing, ebbing and flowing. And where you might have been at the receiving end of the lesson, now you have to be on the giving end of it. I think yesterday we talked about, are you the one rejecting or the one being rejected? Discernment, of course. Discern whether this is your lesson to be the student or your lesson to be the teacher. Decide. Get your hands dirty, get your hands wet. Touch it, feel it, understand it, and then see if it makes sense to you. She's sitting in a shell, much like this one, right? Kind of weird. Cleanse the energies. Cleanse the energies and make sure that what you're feeling is yours and not someone else's. Make sure that your paranoia, we talked about paranoia yesterday, you're hot and you're cold, that you're not reacting or absorbing or reflecting someone else's energy. Make sure it's yours. That's what discernment is. Discernment is, I'm going to read. Where's my book? Oh, I left it over there. Hang on one second, guys. Because I was talking to my friend about the cards from yesterday, and I wanted to send her some screenshots. But discernment, I'm going to read it because I'm sure they have a much better explanation than I do. Discernment. Use discernment combined with wisdom, for you'll soon make a discovery that could benefit your life or the lives of others in a wonderful way. Something of great significance has been or is about to be discovered, and discernment will be required. This mermaid is contemplating the reality of her revelation and thinking about how and if this discovery should be revealed and to whom. You could find yourself in a situation where discernment combined with sensitivity is required. Perhaps something is about to be unearthed concerning your friends, family, or ancestors, or a secret may soon be revealed. It's vital to be discerning when sharing any information that comes to light at this time. If you've discovered or are about to discover some important information about someone, be mindful and use discernment if you decide to share this with a third party. Approaching the person or people directly would be the wisest way forward. Using compassion and discernment when bringing up any sensitive subjects always gives the other person an opportunity to share their truth before jumping to any conclusions. Remember, you're not in court, so don't try to cast judgment. Misunderstandings can occur if you allow your mind to fill in the gaps, so be discerning when imparting any revelations and share with an open heart and mind. This card is also saying you're about to discover another aspect of yourself. Like layers of an onion, as each layer peels away, you can make new and exciting discoveries. Embrace any new facets that you unearth along your soul searching. I don't know that explained it the way I kind of wanted it to be explained to you guys. It's a judgment, but not in a judging court way. It's deciding whether or not to tell a secret. It's deciding whether or not to confront someone. It's deciding whether or not to reveal the answers to someone, or to sit back and let them understand and figure them out for themselves. Use your discernment. Is it an exam, or is it something you can help with? Are you supposed to be a team and help them? Are you supposed to walk away? Is it good luck or bad luck? Is it your lesson or their lesson? Are you meant to be a catalyst, or are you meant to carry this burden through to the end? And by burden, I mean lesson, right? All of our lessons can feel like a burden at times, guys. But it's not hot and it's not cold. You've done the hot and cold thing. This is going to be lukewarm. This is going to be finding that middle way. Look at right in the middle of all of our cards, the Wheel of Fortune. You can change everything with your discernment and how you handle this situation. So approach it with love and grace and gentleness, like we talked about yesterday, and then use your discernment. Use your discernment. Let's get a Universe Has Your Back card. Because these are some tough lessons, guys. Even if they're not yours, even if you're the teacher and not the student, it's still tough to watch somebody you care about go through this, right? And to not take their pain away. As a parent, a codependent parent at that, I can tell you that is the most difficult thing, is to watch your children go through lessons that you can't fix. And I did actually fix them for quite some time, which is probably why the lessons are getting harder for them. So I may have inadvertently put a burden on them by taking the smaller lessons away. Now the lessons have to come bigger, right? And it wasn't my intention. I didn't intend to make their life harder in the long run. I was really just trying to protect them and shielded them from all the stuff that I had to be put through, not realizing I was taking their lessons away from them. It was done with good intention. It was not done in malice, but it was still a burden, right? It was still a burden. So, Spirit Source, God, Universe, Creator, how do you have our back during this time? What help are you giving us that we don't see? What help is out there that we just don't see because we're too interesting? That was weird. We're too focused on the teamwork and the karma and the cycles. What is it that you're doing for us that we don't realize? How do you have our back? How do you have our back, Universe? I know you do. You always do. How do you have our back? A few ways. I choose to learn through love. I mean, that is the same as yesterday for the most part, Approach it with love. Love of self, love of community, love of the universe, love of divine. Just approach it with love, and you'll learn if you choose love in this cycle. And then when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to light. That's 2 intense love cards, guys. I mean, choose love. Whatever you have to say it with love. Whatever you have to do it with love. Whatever hot has to happen, do it with love. Whatever cold has to happen, do it with love. Whatever burdens need to be put down, do them with love. If you need to walk away from something and not be part of the team anymore, do it with love. And discern whether or not this is your lesson or someone else's lesson. If you're part of the team, if you're not part of the team, if you're the catalyst, or if you're going to carry the burdens. Use your discernment and choose through love. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys so much. I like that the energies are starting to flip the other way. We're starting to have a little bit of understanding about what's happening lately. And I guess we'll talk in a minute. All right? Much love and light. Hey, guys. How's it going? Yeah, much better reading today. I think things are starting to become clear. So let's talk first about the numbers. I thought I wrote them down. Maybe I didn't. I did. Number 10 was prominent today, with the Wheel of Fortune in the middle was the number 10 card. And it was an X. And if you notice throughout the reading, I did a lot of this. You know, I was going like this, and then I went like this. And there was a lot of crisscross, if you will, with the 10. Definitely ending a cycle. We didn't get the World card, but it was there. The word of the day, discernment. I said it throughout the reading before we even got the card, to use your discernment. And then we had two names, Steve and Rudolph. Rudolph's Shiny New Year was the movie of the day. And if you think about what that cartoon was with the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser, it was Christmas in July, if memory serves. And I think it was Rudolph's Shiny New Year. And if memory serves, it was the Land of Misfit Toys, right? So think about, I don't know, maybe go watch it, check it out. Might be something in there for you. And as I'm saying this, I keep saying if memory serves, right? And the word serve came up a lot today. And if you think about serve, like serving in a tennis match, you serve the ball to be returned. You serve a meal to someone, serving your community, maybe acts of service, but serve is the thing today. Then let's see, I started out with the what day is it, right? We're finally starting to, I finally got the day right. And it's actually Friday today, but I am pre-recording this for Saturday, so I was able to say that it was Saturday on Friday. So maybe that was my lesson all week. You know, I kept trying to make it a day ahead. Maybe I'm meant to record these videos a day ahead of time. I know it makes my morning a lot more, a lot less chaotic, if you will, because I'm not running around trying to do these readings at 5 o'clock in the morning. So maybe I'm at a better frame of mind the night before, which to do these readings. Anyway, big long story for, maybe it was my lesson. I said it takes a village, and then I talked about the collective. So, this is, in my opinion, and even with the reading the way it was today, the lessons on both sides. There's a lesson for the teacher and the lesson for the student. The student is the teacher and the student, and same with the teacher, right? You're on both sides of it at the same time. A lot of duality in the reading today. There was a lot of hot and cold, top and bottom, left and right, teacher student energy, and it's the fact that it's both, right? The energies for the day are hot and cold. Whatever it is that we're going through is a lesson on both sides. There's learning to be had on both sides, and there's teaching to be done on both sides. I talked about truth and a false front, if you will, with the fakey McFakerman, false fronts. What are you presenting in a false way? That you're just tired of carrying it. Tired of carrying that burden of putting on a false front, putting on the brave face, if you will. Be true. Be true. You know, people will understand if they're your tribe, and if they don't, they're not your tribe. I paused before I said apathy. And I paused before I said, where was it? I'll come back to it. It was at the end, but there was a lot of pausing I did today for reflecting, or the word apathy, you know, the just not wanting to see it. I know it's there, but I'm not going to do anything about it. You know, I know the dishes need to be done, but I'm going to leave them in the sink anyway. I know, and I'm saying that because I actually did that. And when I'm done with this video, I'm actually going to go wash my dishes. But, you know, seeing that something needs to be done and not doing anything about it, that's apathetic, right? And then accepting that you need to do it. You need to do it. These are lessons that need to be learned. You know they need to be learned. Maybe you don't want to learn them. Maybe you don't want to teach them. Maybe you don't want to participate anymore. You know, you just want to take your toys and go home. That's an option. You have that option. I don't give myself that option very often. I might complain about it. I might bitch about it. I might vent about it, but I do it because that's what I do. I was kind of taught to do that. And maybe that was a childhood wound that ended up being a strength of mine. In this kind of work, in this shadow work vicinity, there's no apathy. There's just not. I mean, you can't see something needs to be done and not do it. And I was not built that way. I was not, no, that's not, yeah, built. I wasn't necessarily born that way, but I was definitely built that way. I was taught to be that way. And it will serve me in my chosen field, if you will. So there's that. Talked about duality and the opposites, right? The hot and the cold. And then I said polar ice cap for the cold and the volcano for the hot, right? And then I thought when I was reading it, I was listening to it again, the polar opposites, okay? We talk about, and I haven't mentioned it because I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to it all the time. I think it is a phenomenon for some people. I have seen glimpses of it in certain occasions, but I don't know that I subscribe to the twin flame theory, much the same that the rest of the spiritual community does. I'm not going to try to explain my thoughts on it because I'm not even sure I understand it myself. But I do know that it is described as your polar opposite. Your twin flame is your exact opposite. And it is that person is here to show you, to be that catalyst to showing you those things that you cannot see within yourself. The mirror, the reflection, you can't see your own head with your own eyes. They are the eyes that see your head that help you, right? So the twin flame phenomenon may have kind of lent itself to the reading today, but polar opposites. Your polar opposite is going to be your biggest teacher because it's going to show you those things that you need to see in a world of duality. Apathy and action, hot and cold. Complete opposite of each other, right? One is non-action and one is action, obviously, with the word. They both start with A. And my friend Alyssa was talking yesterday about a, from a Latin derivative, A in front of the word it means not. So there's that. I don't know, that might mean something to you. Talked about, I clapped when I said Wu Wei. Look up Wu Wei. It is literally the middle way. It's the middle path. It's the path of non-judgment. It's the path of non-duality. It's the perfect balance. Not good, not bad. It just is. That's where we need to be right now. The Ten of Wands. When I went to pick it up, I even sounded in the video like I was exhausted. Like it was such an effort for me to pick up this Ten of Wands, and that's literally the Ten of Wands energy. It's that exhaustion. That, oh my God, do I have to pick up another card? Oh my God, do I have to do this again? Oh my God, it's just like that exhaustion. So I mean, I literally embodied the card in the video. Exasperated, tired, exhausted, right? I said, it's not my job. Delegate it out. It's not my job anymore. Delegate it out. Some of it is. Some of it is. Some of it's not. And you run the risk of savior syndrome when you think it's your job to fix everything. And you run the risk of being codependent that way, thinking that people can't fix things without you, right? It gives you... It's a weird phenomenon because it comes from a childhood wound of not feeling worthy, not feeling included, not feeling accepted or loved. And you figure if I can serve a purpose, there's that word serve again. If I can serve that purpose, if I can teach the lesson, if I can fix something that you can't fix, if I can make myself needed, then I don't need to be rejected if I'm not loved. They'll need me. They'll keep me around because they need me, not because they want me. Very, very dangerous energy, guys. I call it savior syndrome. I have it, had it. I struggle with it. It is not egotistical, guys. It's quite the opposite. It's a huge sign that you have a very low sense of self-esteem. And it took me a long time to be able to admit that, because I wouldn't have told you I had a low self-esteem until I saw it, until it was explained to me that way. And I have it, savior syndrome. Got to fix everything, right? Got to be there to fix everything. So keep that in mind, because it's exhausting. After a while, it's exhausting, and you've stolen everybody's lessons from them, and now you've made their life harder. And when you finally do walk away, then they're like resentful. Like, well, what the fuck? You fixed everything up till now. Now you're just going to walk away? Are you kidding me right now? Like, seriously? But anyway, I digress. So plant the seed. Talked about an oak tree. I didn't look this up. I kind of wanted to, and I'm kind of pissed that I didn't. What is an oak tree? And how does an oak tree get planted? Look that up. That might mean something to you. Maybe I didn't look it up because it's not my message. Maybe it's time for me to put that down and let you guys start looking some things up on your own. Go look up an oak tree. Be the catalyst. Be the seed that plants the oak tree. You don't have to be the oak tree. You don't have to sit under the tree after it's done growing. It's not your tree to sit under. It's just not. Hot and cold, hypervigilant, overprotective. Well, when you're hypervigilant, you are on guard to protect yourself. When you're overprotective of someone else, you hurt yourself to protect them. Hot and cold, it's two opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got to find the balance there, guys. You got to find the balance of protecting yourself and protecting them without hurting anybody. Do no harm. Do no harm. We got creativity. I said creativity with the Wheel of Fortune. And actually, when I pointed to, I believe it was the Ten of Wands, I pointed with my middle finger as opposed to my forefinger. Middle way. Find the middle way to put down the burdens. Talked about a divine lesson. When I was talking about the divine lesson, all cards shifted. It's kind of weird. And then the glare on the cards today, there was a weird glare, and I didn't stop it. I didn't make a comment about the lighting like I usually do. I just kind of let it happen. And I didn't even notice it during the reading. It wasn't until after I was watching the reading that I noticed these glares on the cards. So pay attention to where the glare was when I was speaking. I tried to write most of it down, but I couldn't keep up with it. It was I was talking about the lesson being learned, and the glare was on the Three of Cups or Three of Pentacles in reverse, which is the non-teamwork. So the lesson being learned, maybe maybe you're not on the team anymore. Maybe you're the water boy. Maybe you're the coach. Maybe you're the defense. I don't know. You're not. The lesson is not to be part of that team anymore. I talked about office politics, and then I said the exam. I talked about how in my office where I work, we can't help with the exam. We can explain the instructions, but we cannot give the answers. We can't give guidance on whether the answer that they're putting down is right or wrong. When it's their homework, yeah, we can help them. When it's the exam, not so much. We have to only explain the instructions if they're unclear. And that might have been what the office politics was in that Three of Pentacles in reverse. I talked about lessons being served. Again, with the serving. I don't know. Something about, serving. Yeah, I don't know. Then I said move on or repeat. When the wheel of karma spins, you can either move on from the lesson or you can repeat the lesson, but it's going to keep perpetuating. Do you walk away from the reciprocal energy? Do you walk away from the repeating of the cycles? Do you walk away from it? Maybe that's the team that you're walking away from. Maybe you're on team evolution instead of team revolution. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, it said it's your responsibility to heal it. And I was saying that when I was adjusting the cross and the wand on the altar. Go back and look at that. It was kind of neat. Because if you think about the cross, obviously divine, and the wand, magician. And the divine lesson is being bestowed upon you magically. Yeah. But it's your responsibility to heal it. Your job to fix it. When I said it was your job to fix it, I put the crystal back on top of the deck as if it were done. I wasn't going to use the deck anymore. There was no more cards to be pulled from that tarot deck. When I said it's your job to fix it, like that was the bottom line lesson. It's whatever it is you're going through, it's up to you to fix it. I said it's frustrating when you don't understand. That's always frustrating when you don't understand. you're starting to understand. So the frustration levels are going to come down a bit. Even my voice was a little bit softer today. I didn't have that level of frustration in my voice because I was starting to understand what these things were. The Eight of Cups in the reverse. When I said that, the camera shifted. Even though we didn't get the card, the camera shifted when I said it. So that to me is lessons from the past. You know, and I was talking about, think back to what you have healed in yourself already, that you might have to teach that. Eight of Cups in reverse, lessons learned from the past. The camera shifted. I said, narrow it down. And then it got wonky in the camera, narrow it down. When I said, you're the teacher, and I pointed to the Ten of Wands, I used my middle finger. Use your balance. Don't tell them if they're right or wrong. Hold space. Be the teacher. Be the tutor. With that middle balanced energy. When I said, show them where they're at, it was the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Show them where they're at. Walk away, show them where they're at. Let them know. Then I said, there was a lot of cleansing energies today. And even I showed you my sage shell a couple of times, actually, at the beginning and at the end. Cleanse the energies at the beginning, at the end of your lessons. You know, accept that you've learned the lesson. Acknowledge that you've learned the lesson. Cleanse it. Get rid of it. Say, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt, punched the card. Let me move on. And you will. I was looking for the book to read from. And earlier in the reading, I was talking a lot about academics. Do some research on this stuff, guys. There might be a book out there. There might be a video out there. There might be knowledge out there that you just haven't come across yet. Look for it. Look for it. It's there. I've learned that in my therapy class, a lot of these things that they're teaching us were stuff that I learned through the School of Hard Knocks, just figuring it out. But why figure it out yourself if somebody else has already figured it out? Read what they have to say. Maybe you take some of it, maybe you don't. Maybe you take what's yours and leave the rest, but it might be the catalyst. It might be your teacher. It might send you on a different direction with which to find some more information. I said, how... And then I paused. I said, and if this discovery should be revealed. How and if this discovery should be revealed. I paused between how and if. And then I paused before I said revealed. And every time I said revealed or talked about sharing a secret, I paused. Really stop and think, guys, before you reveal something about yourself, about someone else. Know that you're sharing secrets. You're giving away passwords. They might not even be your passwords, but stop and think before you do it and really use your discernment before you go that direction. I bent the cards. You know, the cards, the universe has your back cards. They were kind of bent and I was trying to get them straightened out again. So I was kind of bending them the opposite way. And that I was doing that when I said shield them from their lessons. You can bend yourself over backwards, trying to shield someone from their lessons. Don't do that because you might not come back straight, right? You might have to bend in the other direction to balance that whole thing back out. And then I said, we don't see what we learn and we don't see what we teach, but we do it with love. We can feel it. You may not see your lessons, but you'll feel them. So keep that in mind. And learn and teach with love. Every time you learn, every time you teach, do it with love. And that will serve you well. There's that word serve again. Go look that word up. I'm going to go look that word up. It's very weird. It's been a very prominent word today. Anyway, the other thing with Rudolph's Shiny New Year that just jumped back in my head. So Christmas time, and think about Rudolph. It was he was a misfit that ended up being needed in the foggy night for this to guide the sleigh, right? Everybody made fun of him. They thought he was different. They thought he was weird. They left him out of all the reindeer games, but then it turned out he was needed. So that difference, that piece of yourself that is a little bit different, that you might see as a burden, is a gift. Use it as such. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Much love and light.